Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs. Coming up on today's show, got some breaking news for you, but this is why you hit that sub button. No matter what time of day, no matter if it's my off day, no matter when, I'm always going to be bringing you Texans coverage, so hit that sub button. Join me tomorrow for my Texans-Titans watch party. We'll be going live 30 minutes before kickoff, so stay tuned and be there or be square. So let's get right into the breaking news for today. Scruggs, he will be starting not at center or left guard where he started prior this season. He'll be starting at the right guard spot. So Texans making a move. Kendrick Green was starting there in place of the injured Shaq Mason, who's still on the injury report with that knee injury. But now Scruggs will be kind of sliding into that right guard spot. So now the starting lineup is going to be Laremy Tunsil. You have Tytus Howard at left guard, Jarrett Patterson at center. Then you have Scruggs at right guard and the rookie Blake Fisher at right tackle. Scruggs, he's been severely this year, very average, maybe a little below average. If you're looking at the PFF grades, a 63.3 overall grade, 64.6 pass block grade, and a 63.6 run block grade for Juice on the season. I'll break down my thoughts on Juice here in just a moment, but I want to hear from you folks at home. Let me know down below, do you like the move of putting Scruggs at right guard? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll break my thoughts down here in just one moment, but if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, perfect timing. Scroll on down and give me your thoughts on the Texans offensive line with Scruggs at right guard. I'm okay with it. The Texans offensive line has not been good, has not been solid at any point this year. So if they still feel like they need to tinker, if they still feel like there's a better unit, a better five out there, then I want the best five guys out there. And if the coaching staff of everybody, which, I mean, looking at the coaching staff, they also put Kenyon Green out there at left guard for a long time. So that was a decision in itself. But putting Scruggs at right guard, obviously they feel more comfortable with him at right guard than Kendrick Green. And then also at the same time, this is kind of going back to they really like Tytus Howard at that left guard spot and Blake Fisher at the right tackle. Tytus Howard has been the best left guard that the Texans have had all year, and that's not saying much because Tytus Howard is a middle-of-the-pack guard in the NFL, and I would say he's a much better tackle than he is a guard. But having him at the left guard spot now kind of solidifies, I think that's going to be where he stays for the rest of the season. And then you have Blake Fisher at the right tackle, the rookie. And does this mean he's going to be the right tackle moving forward for this team? They drafted him in the second round out of Notre Dame for a reason. A lot of Texans fans were like, why are we drafting O-line so early? Why do we don't need O-line? And now kind of I think all Texans fans are like, dang, I wish we would have drafted more offensive linemen this past year in the draft. Because this unit has not been it, especially the interior. And Blake Fisher, he's been good at right tackle. Good is maybe a stretch. He's been okay. This past week up against the Ravens was, nobody on the Texans offense did anything against the Ravens. So I'm not going to really hold that against him. But, in his rookie season, he's done okay. And this Titans game is going to be a test run for the playoffs for this team to see how this offensive line does, how this offensive line improves, how, this unit is going to be going into the playoffs, whoever they face in the playoffs. We've got to see how they look up against the Titans, which, funny enough, the Titans' defensive line is actually one of their more bright spots on that team. So it'll be a good little test to see how this offensive line looks heading into the playoffs. We'll talk more about the matchup up against the Titans and the full injury report that was released yesterday. I'll break all that down in just a moment, but couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our sponsor over at PrizePicks. Get started today with America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. It's playoff time, and it's now or never. And it's not just playoff time for the Texans, for, the professionals. It's also playoff time in college. So watching all the college football playoff games, it's been really fun. It's been really exciting. And it's been even more fun and exciting knowing that I can win money with PrizePicks while watching some of those awesome college football matchups. So you can win some money to real cash with your sports knowledge right now over on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS. $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So get started today with PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, let's break down the injury report for the Houston Texans going into this Week 18, last week of the regular season. Danico Autry, he will be out with a knee injury. Shaq Mason, as I mentioned before, also out with a knee injury. Foley Fatukasi, who's been dealing with multiple injuries throughout the year, he's out. They listed it as an ankle injury. And then Jeff Okudah, out with a concussion. The reason why they initially moved Kamari Lassiter to the nickel and then had Jeff Okudah starting on the outside. Now they moved Lassiter back to the outside corner. Miles Bryant is your starting nickel for this team. I think that's the better unit. Miles Bryant isn't an amazing nickel, corner safety, but Jeff Okudah has been he's been cooked this year, to say the least. He hasn't been good. So he will be out along with those three other guys. Questionable this week, Christian Harris with an ankle, Jamal Hill, the rookie, with a hamstring. Those guys are questionable, probably game time decisions for the Texans up as they get into Nashville. And then out for the Titans, they have a lot of guys who are out this week. Tyler Boyd with a foot, Amani Hooker, the safety, with a shoulder, Arden Key has a head injury, the outside linebacker. Tajay Spears, who's kind of that thunder and lightning with Tony Pollard in their backfield, he's out with a concussion. Tackle Jalen Duncan is out. Nick Folk, the kicker, is out, and Colton Dowell, a wide receiver for them, is out as well as Otis Reese, a linebacker. So all those guys are out. But who's not out? And maybe the more interesting part, because I know this game necessarily doesn't really mean anything for the Texans. Will Levis, he's playing for his job. He's playing for his job in this game, and I'm really interested to see how he plays, because he's not been a good quarterback in the NFL, but he kind of lit up the Texans in their previous matchup this season. He looked really good as the Titans came down to Houston, stunned the Texans, and beat them earlier in the year. He's playing for his job because right now, according to Tankathon, the Titans have the number 2 pick in the NFL draft if everything ended today. So a loss could, in fact, secure one of those top 2 picks for the Tennessee Titans. And you have 2 quarterbacks sitting at the top of the board, 2 first-round graded quarterbacks for sure, in Cam Ward, in Shedeur Sanders. So I find it hard-pressed for the Titans not to choose one of those quarterbacks if they, in fact, have a top 2 pick in this year's draft. Or they could also do the trade back route and get a lot of picks in that way. And this is kind of split Texans fans, because I know a lot of people are like, F the Titans. They're, one of our bigger rivals. I want to beat the Titans. I want to get to 10 wins on the year. And I know D'Amico Ryans, players in this, locker room, they want to win. They don't care about all the other stuff. They want to get another win and go into the playoffs on a high note. The flip side of that is, if you lose to the Titans, they could have a much worse draft pick and set them up worse going into the off season. So it's kind of a two-headed coin with that, two-sided coin, in that a win does help morale. It does help the team out, kind of lift spirits going into the playoffs. But a loss would really hurt the Titans' draft stock and their plans going into the off season. So, kind of like I said, a two-sided coin with that. But I'll be breaking down all of that and the game coming up tomorrow, 30 minutes before kickoff. Be there or be square. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you hit that sub button, turn on those notifications so you never miss a moment of Texans football.